Oh, I don't care how you spin it. I don't care what angle you come at it from. What we saw this afternoon at Soldier Field was truly Bears football! Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Running for way more yards as a team than you did throwing the ball. Finding a way to not keep your opponent down, allowing the frickin' Lions to come back and beat you. That is Bears football! Yet maybe in the big picture, that's not such a bad thing. Now, depends on how you define the big picture here. You're going to see a lot of Bears fans, obviously, talk about the big picture with respect to Justin Fields, as they should. Because at the end of the day, that is the only thing that matters this season. Yes, while I'm a little frustrated the Bears didn't get the win today, because it was a winnable game, and you'd like to see Justin Fields win these divisional games if nothing else. Like if you told me the Bears this season would have went 6-11 and their only wins came against all of the divisional teams and they lost to everybody else, I'd be like, cool. He's establishing something for the future. He's establishing his place in the pecking order in the NFC North. But he can't do that when you keep losing to teams in the NFC North. And you could certainly say, like, as a runner, this guy is special. As a runner, this guy is dynamic. As an athlete, he is tremendous. I mean, they showed the graphic during the game, talking about a 5-year stretch, or 5-game stretch, that he's had more rushing yards as a quarterback in a 5-game stretch than any quarterback in NFL history. And that's with some of the greatest runners of all time at the quarterback position. And some of their single-season efforts, like Lamar Jackson in his 2019-2020 stretch, he didn't have a 5-game stretch with more rushing yards than Justin Fields. Randall Cunningham, Cam Newton, Michael Vick, going way back in the day, Bobby Douglas, Russell Wilson, early Seattle days. I mean, these are guys that put up massive single-season totals, and none of them match what Justin Fields has done in a 5-game stretch, which now kind of shifts the conversation to, is Lamar Jackson's 2019 record during his MVP season of 1,209 rushing yards from the quarterback position in jeopardy? And if I look at it right now, it certainly feels that way. What's Justin got? 749 rushing yards with 7 games to go? Yeah, I'd be stunned at this one to be an upset if he didn't surpass that record. So what we know in the big picture is Justin Fields is not a bust. He's not a bust. Any thoughts that we had, those are gone. He's not a bust. If for no other reason, just what he could do as a runner, as an athlete, he's not a bust. You can win games with him. So you can put that forever out of your mind. And at least gives you the thought, the entertainment of the idea of this Bears organization will have to, in a year or two, consider giving Justin Fields a massive contract extension. And that's a good place to be. Whereas you should have never had that feeling with a Rex Grossman. You sure as hell should have never had that feeling with a Mitchell Trubisky. You could feel a lot better with the thought of that with a Justin Fields. So you know that he's got some dude factor to him. But bigger picture is, as nice as it is to watch him running around and do all these crazy things, like today, 13 carries, 147 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, the big-ass touchdown run that gave him the lead in the fourth quarter. You say, man, this is special stuff. His first touchdown run, where he was able to evade the defensive lineman's tackle, and he rolls out of the pocket and goes in and he levels a defensive back. Like, that's special stuff there. And as great as that is in the moment, the reality is that bigger picture, that's not how you're going to win championships at the quarterback position in the NFL. It's nice to have that element, but you ultimately have to win throwing the ball. Like, it's nice to be able to fall back to that, but at some point in time you have to be able to do more. And the Bears continue to demonstrate offensively with Justin Fields that they can't do more in the passing game. And I understand, like, the offensive line was even more undermanned today than usual, with Tevin Jenkins, unfortunately, being out of the lineup. That's true. But you look at it, and you saw Justin Fields' stat line, 12 of 20 for 167 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you say to yourself, look at the 2 touchdown throws he had. The first one, he was rolling out right in the red zone. Bam, perfect location to Cole Kmet. Beautiful. And then the second one, you're talking about he was rolling out left, and the Lions busted coverage, and Kmet is wide-ass open. Like, there's nobody within 20 yards of him, literally, when Justin Fields throws it. Like, that shit was there all day. And the Bears would rather play close to the vest, run the ball, Bears football bullshit. Like, a lot of people are probably going to point to this and say, man, Luke Getsy's done a great job the past few weeks. I would look at today and not exactly use that as an argument in your favor in defense of that argument.
Put him up. I'm gutless Getsy. I'm the offensive coordinator. Anybody could try to throw, but it takes a real man to continue to run the ball. And with the ball, 3rd and 14, halfback dive. I've got courage. I just scare myself.
And here's how I look at it. It's great to see, yes, the Bears are tied at the half 10-10. And they're actually able to come out, make some second half adjustments offensively, and immediately score 2 touchdowns. And they've got the Lions down 24-10. You're sitting there after watching 4 years of the Matt Nagy era and said, that's legal? You could actually do that? You could actually score points and especially touchdowns in the third quarter? Who the fuck knew? I know, right? Who the fuck knew? But you want to talk about Bears football? Bears football is you just shredded the Lions on a deep touchdown to Cole Kmet. You immediately get the ball back. Your defense stops the Lions offense. You're up 24-10. You have to go for the jugular right there. No fucking immediate quarterback design run on first down, halfback dive on second down. No. Throw the damn bomb. Play action their asses and throw it deep. And maybe it gets picked. But maybe it's caught by your guy. Maybe you get a field position changing, pass interference, a defensive holding penalty or something. Go for the knockout punch. Because the longer you allow a team like the Lions to fuck around, you're going to find out that you made a bad mistake. And when we talk about Justin Fields as a passer, talk about the bigger picture, it's really hard to evaluate him right now as a passer because you don't fucking know. Because of dumb dick decisions like that to play it close to the vest when you should be trying to explode the game wide open, when you have all the fucking momentum, when Justin Fields is in a fantastic rhythm. But then, when you are in a position where you do need to throw, then Justin Fields makes that horrendous throw out wide. You gotta throw that away. You gotta throw that out of bounds. You gotta do whatever the fuck you can. Shit, at that point at least, it'd even be better to take the sack instead of throwing a pick six to Okuda. That was a horrendous throw. A horrendous decision. But you don't have to be in that type of spot if you pounce while the getting is effing good. And the Bears didn't do that here. And they have a bad propensity for that throughout their history. Go for the kill shot. The Bears' whole approach today offensively, I think, still was kind of dumb. This Detroit Lions defense is terrible. Their secondary can absolutely be had. I don't care how bad you think your fucking offensive line is, or how mid-ass you think your wide receivers are. You've got Mooney, you've got Claypool, you've got Kmet. I've allegedly been told that they don't suck. Well, then you should find the fuck out. I realize the easier thing to do is just let Justin Fields go do Justin Fields things as a runner, and I like that you're building the offense more around him. But it still needs to be built around throwing the goddamn football first. You can't only have 20 passing attempts and have 35 rushing attempts. Like, it's an incredibly ridiculous imbalance. And even if you said, well, if Justin Fields has 13 runs, you took those out, shit, it still doesn't matter. You're still not throwing the ball enough. God damn, it's 2022. Get with the times in the program. And you're going to have to be able to throw the ball more than this team does right now. And Fields is going to have to be better as a passer than he is right now. And you look at the situation, what happened late in the goddamn game. What was exciting about the Lions scoring the touchdowns, like, okay, now they're up one because Santos missed the extra point on Fields making that spectacular touchdown run. Now it's brass tacks time. It's nut cutting, shit or get time. And Fields is going to have to throw to move you down the field. And at this point, you should, frankly, with 2.5 minutes left, be playing for a touchdown, not a field goal, even though a field goal would win it, because Santos hadn't looked right all game. And instead, the Bears really couldn't move the ball throwing it. Especially when you look at the dumb dick play call on third down. Let's just dump it to Monty on like 3rd and 12 or 3rd and 15 or whatever the fuck it was and pick up a couple of yards. So you still got 4th and a ton. And then you get to the 4th down late. And here's Justin Fields. I understand your receivers are mid. I understand your offensive line sucks. But you absolutely cannot take a sack on 4th down with the game on the line. Either take the snap from shotgun and take 1 second and then take off running and gamble on yourself. Or B, you gotta force the ball in somewhere. Maybe the refs will give you a gift of a penalty call in your favor for a change. Maybe your receiver will come up with a big play. Maybe not. But what you can't do on 4th down with the game on the line is take a sack like he did. It's great that he avoided multiple defenders, but at some point in time, you got to get the ball out. And that's the whole problem here. There's a long way to go with the Chicago Bears passing game. The approach, the philosophy has to change, and I know it's going to be misleading to Ryan Poles and his Bears scouting department, their front office. They're going to think that the defense is the bigger problem. No, dumb dicks. The number one goal of the program is the offense. That is the priority. You need 4 starters on that offensive line. You need 2 more wide receivers. You're going to say, well, they got Mooney and Claypool, to which I'm going to say, what's your fucking point? Frankly, at this point, everybody in that goddamn offense is replaceable. Just like Roquan Smith was replaceable. Watch Jack Sanborn play today. You say Roquan who? Exactly. Especially when you're a mid or shit team. Everybody is replaceable. The number one priority is to build around Justin Fields. And you have to find out what he can do as a passer. And you're not going to find that out this year. You found out he's not a bust. That's good. It means you don't have to go into 2023 looking for a quarterback. What you have to do, though, now is find out whether he could be an elite NFL quarterback with a dynamic set of skills, a unique set of skills, or if he's going to be one of those frustrating guys that's a high-end ass runner and a low-ass thrower of the football. You don't know yet. None of us know. Anybody that tells you they do, they fucking don't. So tell them to stop lying to you. How could you possibly evaluate him in this scenario, in this circumstance? What does concern me, though, is that you've got a defensive-minded head coach, and the defense sucks. It looked like the fucking Desai defense today with the lack of discipline and the untimely penalties that they had. And yet again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know that's the only real weapon the Lions have. And the Bears' strategy and approach for covering him is, oh, we're just not going to fucking cover him at all. Jalen Johnson had a nightmare of a fucking game. And this is a secondary unit you talk about. 2nd round pick on Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker. Jalen Johnson, former 2nd round pick. Eddie Jackson gets a ton of money. And your secondary gets beaten in bad ways in big spots. You can say, well, Goff only threw for 236 yards today. Yeah, but this is Jared Goof. And at times, you just let him throw wherever he needed to. Imagine if the Lions had a real quarterback. So when I come back to the whole point about the bigger picture and what's good about the bigger picture here, and you can say, well, damn, the Bears fucked up their draft position by winning this game or losing this game. You say, whatever. That didn't really matter. Honestly, the Bears losing this game and ruining their draft position is secondary. Probably the biggest thing to come out of this from a real big picture standpoint is the fact that the Lions won. It makes it a little harder for them to end up with the number 1 overall pick. It makes it a little harder for them to end up with a top quarterback in next year's draft. Because if the Lions get a top quarterback in next year's draft, they start to be scary too. So if you want to talk about big picture, that's the biggest thing about the big picture. We know now Fields is not a bust. We know now that we could be talking about Fields breaking a NFL record here by the end of the season. But there's still a lot of questions. His defense sucks. And I'm not very confident in the coaching on the defensive side of the ball either, frankly. The offensive supporting cast around Fields is mid as shit and frankly bad. And pretty much all replaceable. And we're talking about Fields as a runner way more than we do as a thrower. And you're only going to get so far in today's NFL when you're doing that. Want any further evidence of that? Just look at the Baltimore Ravens. I love Lamar, but the Ravens as a team, their inability to pass is what holds them back. I don't want that to be the Bears' future the next few years.